What up, Forgemates? Welcome to Forgemaster Metal Reviews, the place where you get the most out of your metal.
Today we are talking about some of our favorite albums from March. This is part one because we're only halfway through the month and there's plenty more to come. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new, and be sure to leave your favorites down below in the comments.
Further ado, let's get into it. My first pick here is Sylvaine Nova, released March 4th. Admittedly, I was completely new to Sylvaine, which honestly is a shame on my part because I'm such a huge fan of atmospheric, folky, black gaze kind of music. Nova is the fourth full length from Norwegian/French multi-instrumentalist Catherine Shepard, and wow, was my mind totally blown after sitting with this album through multiple listens. It's difficult to describe the sheer beauty and ferocity within this record, but I can say if you love bands like Alceste or Les Discrets, Sylvaine sets a new bar. Every song invokes emotions in me that I honestly didn't really know I had. Who knows, maybe I'm just a sensitive sap because I desperately need winter to be at the end of its rope. But Nova made me feel a lot of things infinitely better. This is easily an album of the year list contender for me. Gorgeous compositions, an elegant layering that I discover, new things every listen. Definitely check this one out. 4.7 out of 5 Ghostly Maidens.
Kuolemanlaakso, Kuusuumu. My first pick here is a band that just hit their 10-year marker, and they've unleashed their fourth record, released March 4th on Svart Records. This Finnish band is made up of a talented cohort of musicians from other projects, most notably Mikko Kotomaki of Swallow the Sun on the vocals. Kuusuumu is a melodic doom gothic journey that isn't ashamed to pull inspirations from other genres, including black metal, funeral doom, and even a little bit of OSDM in there. 7 tracks on a total runtime of 45 minutes is really perfect pacing for this album. It leaves you wanting more because there are so many cool moments just dispersed throughout the record. This has been so far a great year for melodic doom, and this is one of my favorites of the category. 4.7 out of 5 Gilded Goddesses.
My next pick here is Hath, All That Was Promised, released March 4th. This was one of my most anticipated albums of 2022, and for good reason. Of Rotten Ruin was a masterpiece, so I was chomping at the bit here to get Hath's new album, and all I can say is, bring on the slime. We have the undisputed kings of Lovecraftian slime and grime-fueled death metal here. It's rare that you find a death metal release with killer consistency, not only in the songs themselves, but song placement. The album flows beautifully, weaving in and out of dirty riffs and complex yet terrifying song structures that transport you to another sludge-covered world. In terms of blackened death metal, it's tough to stand out to other bands, and I'm really happy to see Hath have started to carve out their own identity in the death metal landscape compared to bands like Sulphur Aeon and Sludge. I thought it was tough to top their last release, but I think they did it. 4.4 out of 5 Skull Swamps.
Dude, this is an album of the year contender for me. I rated it a little bit higher than you. I will absolutely be talking about this album some more as we get into like our mid-year lists and stuff. So fucking good. I will not let my emotions die like a vein of pride. Crowbar, 0 and below. If you've been watching, you'll know that Crowbar has been on our radar for quite a bit now. You shouldn't be surprised that it is right here on our best of the month. I love doom in most of its varieties, but sludge is one of my absolute favorites. However, there aren't really a lot of bands that are still doing it as consistently good as Crowbar is. So with a band that has 12 albums with hardly any of them being below average, I'd probably put 0 and below in between the top 5 and 10 if we're gonna, call it that. It's definitely a solid record with absolutely devastating riffs. I'm glad to see that Kirk is still very confident in his vocals and that there is a bit of diversity to help contrast his gruff and, dare I say, monotonous delivery style. Like I said, this is a very strong release from a band that has risen to the top of the sludge metal mountain. 4.4 out of 5 New Orleans Crypts.
All right, haters. Next one on my list is Ghost Impera, released 11 March. I'm excited to see all of the hate comments for this one, and I don't really give a shit. I know that they're not a metal band, but I don't really care. Ghost catered to the part of me that absolutely loves the sound and catchiness of 80s pop music, as well as the allure of occult themes. From that banging, catchy intro of Imperium to the high falsetto note to start the album on Kaiserion, through the end of the record, it's no doubt that Ghost are completely on top of their game with Impera. Every song was carefully constructed with the thought in mind of not only catchiness, but evilness, and it is nailed. If I had to say one song that I didn't really connect with and that I kind of think they should have left off the album, I would say 20s, but the rest of the album flows so perfectly. Even Hunter's Moon as the single for the latest Halloween Kills movie is written in a time signature that is a nod to John Carpenter's Halloween. Really cool fun fact there, without directly using the melody. So awesome. Just brilliant all around. Easily an album of the year contender for me. 4.7 out of 5 Mechanical Evil Popes.
Messa. This is a name you're going to hear a couple times this month and quite possibly more because their most recent album, Close, is about as close to perfect as you can get around here at the Forge. Another album under the Svart Records umbrella. I think we're going to have to start paying attention to this label a little bit more. Messa falls under the more psychedelic-leaning doom metal. Music and sonically, the band really borrows a lot from the 70s prog, acid rock scene, which was a surprise because the album cover seems more aligned towards like what post-metal is doing. The minor ding I gotta give this album is it's a little bit long, but I really can't say what I would cut. The extreme metal influences that come in towards the end of the record, so good. It really helps put the finishing touches on this one. The solos on this are, as a guitar player, love them. Just so many cool like jazz, flamenco influences. Just so much cool stuff on here. This is an album of the year contender right here. A sleeper hit for 2022. 4.8 out of 5 Dancers at the Feast.
And my last pick here is in Aphelion Moribund, released 11 March 2022. Man, this band/album was a huge surprise. A Swedish/Dutch trio consisting of Necrophobic and Cryptosis members, the band released their first full-length Moribund this year, and you can tell that this is a band that leverages mastery from both of their respective projects. This is a no-holds-barred, classic and expertly executed blackened death metal record with influences of thrash and horror movie vibes. Every song confidently marches into endless evil with razor-sharp riffing, intricate and relentless drumming, and just pure majesty. I have a huge appreciation and love for bands that capture the magic of the 90s sound from blackened death metal, and you can hear that a ton in Moribund, with a fresh approach in the production department and also the mastering done by Unleashed Frederick Folkari. I had never heard of this band until March, and I'm so glad I gave this one a spin. Give it a shot. You will definitely not be disappointed. 4.2 out of 5 Gorgon Staring Witches. And what are you guys loving from March? Leave us some links down in the comments. Make sure you share your stuff and check out our Spotify playlist.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't already, crush the neck of the like button and hit subscribe. Be sure, our friends, to go with the gods. Stay zero and below. Take care.